Hi everybody and welcome to our channel. And today I'm very exciting to share this tutorial with you, which is connecting Raspberry Pi with Mac using SSH. If you want to see this tutorial and other exciting tutorial, you can visit our website anytime, which is learnovi.com, and you can see a lot of exciting tutorial on this website. You can find this tutorial in the IoT section. So let's get started, and I hope you will enjoy this tutorial. So why this tutorial? So sometimes instead of going with a lot of trouble like buying a keyboard, mouse and LCD, we want to access our Raspberry Pi using a laptop. So that's why in this tutorial, we are going to discuss how to access and use our Raspberry Pi using MacBook. So let's get started. So the first thing is to set up the hardware. So for this tutorial, we just need three things other than Raspberry Pi and MacBook. First is the 5-volt adapter with a cable here, like cable connected to Raspberry Pi. The other most important thing is we need one USB-C to Ethernet converter. So here is that. So USB-C, because our MacBook support USB-C ports only. So that's why we need this adapter, which can connect any Ethernet cable to our MacBook. And the other thing we need is a big Ethernet cable, this cable, where one port is connected to Raspberry Pi and the other port is connected to this adapter, uh, USB-C to Giga Ethernet converter adapter, this adapter. So this is the setup we need. So first connect this thing and then plug in your Raspberry Pi to the adapter and switch on your Raspberry Pi. So this is the setup we need. After that, we have to click on the open network preferences, which is here, this Wi-Fi signal kind of a thing. If we click, we will find our open network preferences. So this is the second thing we have to do. And after clicking it, we will get some on the left side, some of the Wi-Fi or other ports, how they are connected or not, and how they are working. So now we will set up our USB LAN preferences. So here it is. So if you see here, we have USB LAN preferences. We have to set these preferences. So if you see the name of this thing, so we have named something like USB and then port something like that and then LAN. So if you have something like that, remember that this is for the LAN, which is connected to your MacBook. So make sure that two things in this thing. First is the configure IP for v4. So it should be using DHCP, not the other things. It should not be DHCP with manual address or other thing. It should be just DHCP. And for the location, it should be automatic. Don't do edit location. Just set it to automatic by default. So that's the thing we need. That's it. And are connected. Now we will test our connection. So the first thing we are going to do is testing our connection that, okay, now the LAN shows that it is already connected. So you can see here, it is saying self-assigned IP, it is connected. The status is saying connected. Okay, our LAN is connected, but is I can transfer the data is or not. So to see that, we will just use this command, ping Raspberry Pi local, and we will type it to our terminal. So let's type it. Raspberry Pi dot local. So if you get something like this, like you will have IP address of your Raspberry Pi, which is this, and it is saying like data packet of data is transferring from this IP address, which is of Raspberry Pi, to our computer, and vice versa. So it means yes, our Raspberry Pi is connected properly. So now we want to connect it with the SSH, which is secure shell. So I want to go inside my Raspberry Pi now. So for that, where it is, yes, my terminal. I want to use one more terminal. So I will open one more terminal, and then I want to clear this thing first. Okay, I cleared it. So let me zoom out for you so you can see properly. Yeah. So I want to type this command, which is SSH Pi Raspberry Pi local. So SSH Pi @Raspberry Pi dot local. So yes, so now it is asking for a password of Raspberry Pi. So the thing is, when we have installed our Raspberry Pi system, the by default password we have is Raspberry, all in small letter. We have like Raspberry. I will type for you somewhere. So yes, let me type for you. So everything is in a small letter. So this is the password we have, and the username. We have also the username. By default, the username is Pi. You can change it later. So the by default username is Pi and the password is Raspberry. So the thing is, I have already used it a lot of time. So it is saying me like warning permanent added the EC DSA host key for IP address. But when you are doing first time, it will ask you, do you want to add this host key? Uh, there will three options like yes, no, and I guess the fingerprint, something like that. So just click on yes. So for the first time, you have to click on yes. So for me, it is already added because I have already did that thing earlier. So it will ask just for the first time. After that, it won't ask you. So now type the password of your Raspberry Pi, which is by default Raspberry. See, now here you can see. So the earlier my was MacBook Pro. So this was my by default. I was working in my MacBook Pro, but now I'm working in my Raspberry Pi. And if you want to see other things like what are the things I'm working with, so you can see the files and the folders you want to see, or what the things I've worked with in the previously in the Raspberry Pi. Here are the things like different folders, files, and things I have worked with. It's something I have worked with. So this is the Raspberry Pi. So Raspberry Pi has been added to using SSH. Now you can work on Raspberry Pi with your MacBook Pro. So the good thing with this is that it is secure shell SSH, and you don't have to worry much about anything. Like you can copy the file easily and do your programming on Raspberry Pi without using uh, the monitor or keyboard, adding that those things. The only sad thing is here, like the UI, you are just working with the command line interface. For most professional, it is okay. But generally, if you are a beginner, you want to see the UI, you want to feel the UI of Raspberry Pi. So in the next tutorial, we will see how we can do UI also, how we can access UI from MacBook or other desktop laptop. For this video, I will close here. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial and thank you so much. If you want to see this tutorial in detail, you can always visit our website and go through this link also. And thank you so much for your kind attention. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you.